Brace Godfrey III, better known as Trey, and it is my honor and my pleasure to welcome you all to tonight's celebration. And yes, I do absolutely call this a celebration because 26, almost 27 years of any good thing is certainly a great thing. So tonight, we look forward to taking a walk back down memory lane and living in the present for a moment, and then projecting forward toward a great and a dynamic future. And as men of the 100, we spend most of our time in the trenches, doing the work of this organization, and this is one of the very few opportunities that we ever have to publicly talk about what we do. But before we move forward, let me introduce you tonight to my co-MC, an outstanding young gentleman and scholar, and a mentee of the 100. And before I bring him up, I would be remiss if I didn't brag on the brother a little bit, because every time I see him, I'm reminded of the speech he gave last year at the 100 Black Men of America National Conference, in which he stood on stage on a microphone and reminded the 1,500 people in attendance that he is going somewhere. So stick with him. He's been in our Project Excel mentoring program since 2012, so about almost half his life. He's a leader among his peers, and he's a great representative of the 100. And it's really cool for me right now to introduce him, because the first time I met him, I was speaking at a 100 event, and he actually introduced me. But the funny part was that he was such a small kid. He was so short, he was standing behind this podium and had to stand on a really big stool just to be able to see over the podium. I know how that struggle goes myself. That wasn't supposed to be funny. But it has absolutely been a joy to watch him grow into the great young man that he is. He's a senior at Scotlandville Magnet High School, a talented, I see Scotlandville right here, a talented artist and musician, and is headed to LSU next year. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the young Mr. Dylan Hamilton. So like I said, man, it has been a minute since the last time I saw you, and yeah, you've grown a little bit.
I could say the same about you.
That's not even funny, man. Come on. You know I'm sensitive.
I mean, your beard has grown a little bit, so.
Yeah, my beard, right? Good stuff.
Good evening. I must be at church, because that wasn't strong enough. I said good evening. Good evening. All right. Being a mentee of the Project Excel mentoring program, I have a unique perspective on the work of the 100. These gentlemen are playing an active and impactful role in my life and are helping me grow into a bright future. Thank you. Tonight's event is about celebrating this work and the men who so faithfully dedicate themselves to it. Later, we will also give you the opportunity to help us help more students like me. Oh, and then at the end, I promise you, we're going to have a little fun.
You see, there are a couple things needed to have a great event. First is a purpose, second is a place, and third, of course, is the right people. Now, our purpose is clear, and we want to continue doing the phenomenal work that we've done for the last 26 years to create more young Dylans. As far as the place, well, I think we have the best location in town that we could possibly have for an event. It's my favorite place to spend some time in Baton Rouge, especially when I get a hot blackjack table. But we are extremely grateful for that. And before I introduce you to our most gracious host, I would like to ask our president, Mr. Fred Sibley, and our president-elect, Mr. Michael Adams, to join us on the stage. And to start off the night, I would like to invite our title sponsor, L'Auberge Casino and Hotel Baton Rouge, represented by Vice President of Human Resources, Ms. Kizzy Smith. Ms. Smith, could you come forward?
So she asked me to fill in, and it was my absolute honor to do that. It has been a really great relationship with L'Auberge and the 100. I remember when I first relocated here, some of the first people that I met was Michael and John, and we sat down and we talked about how L'Auberge could partner with the 100. And since then, it has been fantastic. So it is always our honor to host this event and to partner with such a great organization. We appreciate everything that you do in the community, and if there's anything else that we can continue to do, we're always here for you. Before I take my seat, I do want to thank our wonderful banquets team. If you guys would give them a round of applause. We could not do this without them, and our AV team, and just all of the fantastic team members here at L'Auberge. We have a few folks at the table with us tonight. Our Director of Marketing, Megan Reiners, and our Vice President of Hospitality, Sean Malone. Thank you.
So 6 years ago, when we decided to get back into the gala business, L'Auberge was there to partner with us to make sure that this was a true fundraiser. And because of L'Auberge opening the doors to the 100, we've been able to support hundreds more students in the Baton Rouge area. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ms. Kizzy Smith and thank L'Auberge throughout the night and even spend some time on the tables after the party. Thank you. So now that we have talked about our purpose and we've recognized our host who has provided this fabulous place for our party, I want to recognize a very special group of people, members of the 100 Black Men of Metro Baton Rouge, who stepped forward to ensure that this event would be a financial success. These men are our host committee. So as I call your name, please stand and remain standing, and please hold your applause until the last person is called. Stanley Atkins, Reggie Bro, Carmen Blackman, Dr. Adele Brown Jr., Melvin Chambers, Hall Davis IV, Billy Duncan, Dr. Garland Green, Andre Harmon, Herman Johnson, Dr. Max Madeir, Isaac Patterson, Christopher Plant, Eric Polk, Dr. Derek Riveras, Mr. Fred Sibley, John F. Smith, Jesse Spland, Michael W. Victorian, Howard White, and David Wilson. Please give these gentlemen a great round of applause.
Gentlemen, being a mentee of the 100, I want to personally thank you for your investment into this event, which goes directly to programs that have meant so much to me. These investments have allowed me to travel to Las Vegas last year for the national conference, where, like Mr. Godfrey said, I took stage to give a speech in front of 1,500 people and made new friends with mentees from other 100 Black Men chapters across the country. Thanks again for stepping up to ensure that this year's gala is a success. Please give these men another round of applause.
So the next thing that we want to do is to recognize the group of people who are tonight's premier gala sponsors. These two corporations have been strong sponsors and supporters of the 100 for years, and we remain ever grateful for their partnership. So please give a round of applause first for tonight's first premier sponsor, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana, represented by Mr. John Brown Jr., Senior Vice President and Chief Human Resources Officer. A great thank you to our member, Mr. John Brown Jr., representing Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana, and our second premier sponsor, Entergy, represented by Will Johnson, Regional Manager of Customer Service for Entergy Louisiana. Okay, so thanks to Mr. Johnson in absentia and to our friends at Entergy for being here with us. Does Entergy have another representative that you'd like to come forward, please? So in a last-minute adjustment, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Tamara McGee, Customer Service Representative Assistant to Mr. Will Johnson. We are ever grateful to tonight's two premier sponsors for stepping forward and stepping in to ensure that this is an absolute success. So for those of you who were with us last year at the gala, the next gentleman was one of our special guests. Unfortunately, circumstances with his schedule precluded him from attending tonight. He's got a couple things going on his schedule. Nonetheless, he asked if he could send a personal video for tonight. So ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the monitors.
Good evening. Please accept my apology for not being with you in person tonight. My schedule simply wouldn't allow it. But attending this gala last year was a true highlight for me. It's always special to be in a room filled with change makers, committed to moving our communities forward. I salute all of you for your service and support. As I said the evening of my re-election, my love for this state deepens as I meet more Louisianans just like you, who remind me how blessed we are to call this great state home. I am continually inspired by the goodness and the decency and the generosity of the people of Louisiana. We've accomplished a lot by working together, but there is still much more work to be done. We must continue increasing workforce training, investing in all levels of education, improving the health outcomes in our communities, and much more. But government cannot do that work alone. Organizations like the 100 are essential to Louisiana's success. Please know that your targeted, on-the-ground efforts are not going unnoticed. The 100 helps empower our young people to individually and collectively reach their full potential. And you'll hear from some inspiring young men tonight who have changed the trajectory of their lives and their families' lives because of the programs and mentorship offered by the 100. Under the leadership of President Fred Sibley, Executive Director Brace Trey Godfrey, and Chairman Michael Victorian, 100 Black Men of Metro Baton Rouge embodies both the goodness and the generosity I spoke of, which is why it's no surprise you were recently recognized as 100 Black Men National Chapter of the Year. Congratulations for that honor and for another great year of life-changing work. I, along with the people of Louisiana, appreciate your continued commitment and service to our communities.
So between preparing for his inauguration festivities and probably taking in, there's a ball game going on Monday night, he took the time out to film that video for us, and we are certainly grateful for the governor and for his staff for the support of the 100.
Well, it is now my honor to personally introduce an individual whose passion for making Baton Rouge a better place greatly and truly inspires me. Mayor Sharon Weston Broome is the first female mayor-president of the city of Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge Parish. She previously served as a Baton Rouge Metro City Council member, a state representative, and a Louisiana state senator. While serving in the legislature, she became the first woman to hold the leadership positions of Speaker Pro Tem in the House and President Pro Tem in the Senate. Since taking office, Mayor Broome has placed a heavy focus on improving the quality of life through addressing transportation, drainage, public safety, the education system, economic development, and revitalizing neighborhoods. Mayor Broome has been recognized for her service and leadership by several organizations. She was selected for the inaugural class of the Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Initiative. She was recently appointed co-chair for the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative and serves on the advisory board for the U.S. Conference of Mayors. She has been a consistent and faithful supporter of the 100 and our work, and it gives me a great honor to welcome her this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the Honorable Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. And thank you to my escort, Ivan, as well. I am so delighted to be here to celebrate, once again, the 100 Black men of Greater Baton Rouge. And as I was coming here tonight, my thoughts went to a poem by Langston Hughes. I'm sure you know it's called Harlem, but it's the first line of that poem, which says, "What happens to a dream deferred?" And as I thought about that first line, I thought about the work of the 100. It's the work of the 100 that causes young African American men not to have their dreams deferred, delayed, or detoured. It's the work of the 100 that enables our young men to see what they can be, and our youth to know that they can reach those aspirations that are in their heart. It's the work of the 100 that helps us accomplish here in Baton Rouge my vision of peace, prosperity, and progress for everyone. It's the work of the 100 that has been working with our Baton Rouge Police Department in the collective healing experience. And so tonight, I am here to say thank you to the 100, because we could not do the work that we do in Baton Rouge to uplift disinvested communities, to inspire our youth, if it were not for partners like the 100 Black men. Thank you so much for your legacy and your longevity of support to the young men in this community, and I believe that the best is yet to come. God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor Broome, and we certainly believe and know that our best is yet to come. And so at this time in the program, we're going to do something different and special. It's the first time that we've ever presented an award like this. So the first time around, we had to do this right and present this honorary membership to the best person possible. And boy, did we get this one right. Tonight, President Fred Sibley will induct the 100-year-old civil rights icon as the first honorary member of 100 Black Men of Metro Baton Rouge, Attorney Johnny Anderson Jones, Sr. As Attorney Jones makes his way forward, I'd like to tell you just a few things about him. Attorney Jones was born on November 30th, 1919 in Laurel Hill, Louisiana, to Henry and Sarah Jones. Attorney Jones and his 7 siblings were raised on Rosemount Plantation, where his parents leased and farmed 75 acres. He was awarded a certificate for finishing the 6th grade, which back then was the highest grade that you could go to, and went to work for a lumber company in Woodville, Mississippi. Later, his family moved to Scotlandville, where he attended the Southern's Demonstration School, where he graduated with honors and entered Southern University. He entered the Army in 1942, where he became the first Black Army soldier to test for the new position of warrant officer. He was injured on D-Day, June 6, 1942, on what General Eisenhower called a suicide mission, but he was able to board a transport boat to the beach. He would be awarded 3 U.S. battle stars and the French Croix de Guerre. Warrant Officer Jones endured racially based humiliation and degradation throughout his service and would then return to the Louisiana Jim Crow South, where he would return to Southern University, join the debate team, and happily reconnect with Sybil Chase, who would soon become Mrs. Johnny Jones. The two had 4 children while he worked as a mail carrier. He then enrolled at Southern University Law School and became the first graduate of the law school when it was accredited in 1953. He was admitted to the Louisiana Bar and was hired by the Urban Defense Fund as their lawyer for the Baton Rouge boycotts, organized by the late Reverend T.J. Jemison. In his 57-year legal career, Mr. Jones became the first black member of the Baton Rouge Bar Association, initiated the desegregation of Louisiana courtrooms, represented the Southern University students in their sit-ins, resulting in a landmark Supreme Court case, worked to remove racial identification from election ballots, and fought to integrate Baton Rouge schools, parks, and pools, among many other cases in local, state, and federal courts. While he has survived his parents, all of his siblings, his wife, and his 4 children, Mr. Jones delights in his grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So, ladies and gentlemen, please stand to your feet and help us recognize American hero, Louisiana legend, and the first honorary member of 100 Black Men of Metro Baton Rouge, Attorney Johnny Anderson Jones, Sr. 100 years old. Now, if that didn't make you a little misty-eyed, I don't quite know what to tell you. But one thing that you heard in Attorney Jones' bio was the power of the education that he received throughout his life. You see, the 100 is built on 4 pillars, one of which being education, which we also believe is one of the key components to our youth having opportunities beyond where they are today to lift themselves and their families up to new heights. And so, speaking of education, I'd like to recognize all of our education leaders who are present with us tonight. So, scheduled to be with us tonight, first of all, if you stand to be recognized, Dr. Willie Smith, Chancellor of Baton Rouge Community College. Thank you, sir. We have worked with BRCC in some of our past programs and certainly will look to collaborate more in the future. And also, of our 2 Collegiate 100 chapters, one of them is based on the campus of Baton Rouge Community College. So thank you, Chancellor Smith. Next, Dr. Ray Belton, President and Chancellor of the Southern University System. Dr. Belton, are you with us tonight? I guess he has not made it, but we certainly thank President Belton. Southern has been a partner of the 100 for more than 10 years now, and every semester will host programs of the 100 on campus, both our ACT Prep Academy and our Dollars and Cents financial literacy program. Next, Dr. F. King Alexander, member of the 100, formerly president of Louisiana State University, now president of Oregon State University. LSU was our first programmatic strategic partner and was essential in the creation of our ACT Prep Academy and has hosted that program on their campus for 15 years. Dr. Alexander, we thank you for your ardent support of the 100 and our programs. And Doc, we wish you very, very well in your move to the West Coast. I'm not sure that there is a 100 chapter for you to join in Corvallis, Oregon, but if you'd like to start one, we'll support you. And finally, Dr. Jim Henderson, president of the University of Louisiana System. And it doesn't look like Dr. Henderson, has he made it? Hey, Doc, okay, good. Dr. Henderson and the UL system are the newest strategic partners of the 100. If any of you saw the press release or have gone on Facebook in the last day, you will have seen the leaders of the 100 at yesterday's University of Louisiana System Board meeting sign a memorandum of understanding that outlines the partnership now between this organization and the UL system. The MOU outlines those terms and outlines the fact that we will work closely in our investment into students and their educational futures, including the investment of last dollar scholarships into students who have been through 100 Black Men programs. Now, Dr. Henderson, I read through that MOU very, very closely and was certainly delighted to know that among their commitments includes a commitment to as many as 5 last dollar scholarships to our students per member institution. And there's 9 of them. So for those of us out here who are not very, very good at math, that's a lot of scholarships. So Dr. Henderson and the University of Louisiana system, we thank you and we certainly look forward to some phenomenal work to come. Yesterday at the board meeting, my sister was in attendance, and before he recognized me, he recognized my sister and called her the better of the Godfrey siblings. And so, you know, what I told him, I said, I have to challenge you on the notion that Nikki is the better Godfrey sibling, although she undeniably is the better looking one of us because she looks like mama. But moving forward, Dylan, why don't you come back up to this microphone? I've been talking a little too long, man.
Wow, that's a lot of scholarship opportunities. Mom, we might have to take another look. So, as we prepare to eat and enjoy the first set from tonight's band, Sweet Southern Heat, let us introduce one of my fellow mentees, Ivan Britton, who will say a blessing for our meal. Ivan, a second-year Project Excel mentee, is a straight A student who recently preached his first sermon. Ivan, you may come up.
Good evening. Let us go to God in prayer. Dear God, we pray your richest of blessings on the 100 Black men of Metro Baton Rouge. God, we ask you to encompass these great men's minds and bodies to transfer upon the mentees of the Project Excel program with wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and a duty for justice and discipleship. Oh God, I pray for all of us mentees to be recipients of the wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and the duty for justice and discipleship the 100 Black men of Metro Baton Rouge transfer upon us so that we may become upstanding citizens in our community, state, nation, and the world. Father God, open the portals of the hearts and the minds of sponsors this day. Bless parents as they continue to bestow their confidence in the 100 Black men of Metro Baton Rouge to shape and mold their young man. Bless everyone in attendance to leave having experienced your greatness in all that is said and done here tonight. Now, Lord, food has been prepared. We ask that you bless the hands that prepared it and bless this food so that it can be used for the nourishment of our bodies. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Let the church say amen together.
Thank you, Ivan. Ladies and gentlemen, dinner is served. Before the band entertains us and LaBerge provides a delicious dinner, I want to remind you that you too can take home this autographed framed jersey that was graciously donated by our member, Jack Whitehead of the Whitehead Law Firm at Veluzzo Companies. That's what I'm talking about. Who that nation? Who in here? 100% of the proceeds will go straight to the programming. The jersey will be right outside the door to the right. LaBerge and Sweet Southern Heat, take it away.
Just